Hello and welcome to week 10, and we're going to talk about units 12 and 11 today. So, starting with 11, we're going to spend time talking about our online life. It's a little bit similar to our discussion of SNS, but this will have a lot more grammar involved in debate and discussion of habits or bad habits. Here's a couple of warm-up questions we're going to use in the group chat. How much time do you spend online? And generally, what do you do? Do you think it's a waste of time? We'll discuss these, whether or not we can do things positively online or not. Here are the key vocabulary for this unit. I'll explain them briefly here, but we'll talk about them in the group chat as well. A lot of people read blogs. I think that these days most people do vlogs rather than blogs. Of course, we all use video sharing sites such as YouTube. Some of your professors are making live streams of their lectures, so you can watch them as they teach. We all know what apps are, so we can skip that. Social networking sites, well, that includes, of course, SNS. That's what it stands for. We can also communicate with podcasts, where we can hear people talk a lot, or video chats, which are pretty uncommon, but still growing in popularity with Zoom, of course. And finally, people post messages on message boards. But again, these are kind of disappearing. Something we can do in our groups later on, after we break into the different teams. Tell your partner 2 of the activities that you do and how often you do them online. Think about a night that you recently spent a lot of time doing something and complete these sentences. These have to do with good or bad habits. I was up half the night. I spent the whole night. For example, I was up half the night watching a Netflix series. Or, I spent the whole night preparing last minute for my exam. Think about your bad habits and then complete these sentences. I spend too much time. I need to limit. I should get or do. I think the first one's pretty clear. I spend too much time on YouTube. Limit is when you want to stop doing something, so you set a certain goal, like, I need to limit my time on Facebook, or I need to limit my YouTube viewing to 1 hour a day. I should get more active, or do more exercise. These are tips to beat your bad habits. Look at this picture. This is almost like the TOEIC speaking. Why does David look so tired? What did he decide to do? Think about your decisions in life and why you decided them. I just wanted to mention this pronunciation point because it's rather interesting and can help you be more communicative. Sometimes we drop the ng and just make it sound like in to make our speech a little simpler. I was up all night updating my website. I spent the whole night watching videos. I spent too much time chatting online. I was out most of the day running errands. I'm a teacher, so when I talk, I usually talk a little bit slower than naturally, but generally I speak like that. I spent the whole night watching Netflix, for example. Last weekend I was so busy, I spent all Saturday making PowerPoints for my lovely students. Of course, it's always good to follow up with questions, as we always do. The longer you can converse, the more you can learn and appreciate a language. So keep trying. In Unit 11, I want you to write down or remember that we can use in the chat, discussing our lifestyle habits. Talk about your lifestyle. What are some common lifestyle habits? Lifestyle habits are the way that we live and the way we do things. So we'll discuss these quite deeply in the group chat. Now, let's move on to a little further discussion about electronics in our life. Which gadgets have you got or would like to have? If you could invent a new gadget, what would it do? Of course, we're all talking about games like Animal Crossing on Nintendo Switch recently. That to me is Nintendo's closest mobile phone game that is accessible to everyone. And what I mean is, it's a very expensive game, but it's the same idea as you would actually see on a smartphone. The difference is the story's much deeper, it's open-ended, there's so many seasons and events. It's quite a bit like you would see on a mobile phone, but much better graphics. If you could invent a new gadget, what would it do? I would love to see the power of a desktop computer in a tablet. I know tablets are really good, but they can't do a lot of things that a desktop can do. So I think later on, a tablet will have a lot more power. That's just an idea. A lot of people actually focus their energy and invention on creating apps. Let's talk about this. This is just a futuristic app. What do you think an app called Sight might do? I'm going to show you a short film about this app. It's a futuristic app where we'll see something miraculous. When you watch, I want you to think about the advantages and disadvantages of this website. This app. Let's check it out. It's a little bit longer than normal, 7 minutes, but it's a good view and you'll get a lot of interesting information.
Good job. Excellent. Well done. Level complete.
Welcome.
Sorry, I guess we're buffering.
Snail zombies from your backyard.
Life is a journey, and in this journey, we all want to do more, experience more, feel more, and live with no boundaries. And why shouldn't we? Sight System presents Sightseeing. Feel free to go anywhere.
Reminder, date at 9 p.m. Choose outfit.
Patrick.
Oh, hi. Hi, Daphne. How are you? Sorry.
It's okay.
You look great.
Thank you. Love your jacket.
Thanks. It's a sports jacket, so a lot less official than it looks.
What do you mean?
Sorry?
What's the difference between a sports jacket and a normal one?
I guess a sports jacket is for people who want to look good even when they're chased by the police.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope you're hungry. This
Yeah.
place has the best burgers in town.
Oh, actually, I'm vegetarian.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Because you didn't say it on your profile, so...
Well, I don't write everything on my profile, so.
Do you want to go somewhere else?
No, it's okay. I'll find something on the menu.
Well, how about a glass of wine, for starters?
Yeah. Great.
So, are there any other things on your profile that you didn't write about that I should know, or... Are you scared of jogging by yourself in the city?
Not really. Besides, I'm about to hit level 5 on Marathon Master.
Pretty impressive.
I know. What is scary though? On my last route, my site crashed. So scary. I didn't see anything. I couldn't find my way home.
Site doesn't crash.
Oh, it did. I was totally lost. I didn't see anything.
That doesn't happen since our last patch.
Do you work there or something? Really?
Yeah, but
Wow. What do you do there?
nothing serious. I'm just a simple engineer.
Actually, I read about your company in the news. Is it true that you guys implant stuff and manipulate people's sites?
It's just bullshit. But anyway, I don't want to talk about work. Not when I'm here with such a pretty lady.
You know, you really get me.
You know, I can tell what you're thinking right now.
Really? What?
Well, finished our drinks. What are we going to do? How about we go to my place for a nightcap?
Well, if you're so good in reading my mind, you should know what I'm going to say.
There it is. Make yourself at home.
Nice place you got here.
It's all right, I guess. A toast for a perfect night.
Why are you drinking?
What's that? A dating app.
No.
Oh,
It's for
I cannot believe it's just my luck. A friggin' gay junk. Disgusting.
Wait,
Do not touch me, you creep. Pathetic.
I said wait.
Now let's try this again.
Okay, so that short film just showed the advantages or disadvantages of technology like that. So in our chat, hopefully you can have checked out this short film and we'll discuss it more deeply, what technology could do in our life. Okay, sorry if it was upsetting to anyone. Would you like to have sight? What would you use sight for? How could sight be misused? Do you think an app or device like Sight is possible in the future? So think carefully about that. Okay, before we go on to the next unit, we'll talk about a major environmental problem. Well, I guess it's the opposite actually. As you know, we've been under staying at home rules for many, many months. If you check out a lot of websites like CNN, they have interesting reports about what's happening in nature. I urge you to check those out because they have some really interesting stories about what's changing in the environment. And that will lead to today's story. What are some environmental issues that we need to be concerned about? Look at these different terms. I'm not going to tell you the meaning this time. We're going to check these out together in the chat. Think about things that hurt the environment and things that can improve the environment. Go through the list here and try to categorize them. We'll be talking about environmental issues throughout the chat. We're going to talk about carbon footprint. I'm sure if you look this up, you'll find out a lot of information. Here are several questions we can ask about our carbon footprint. Whether or not we live by ourselves, use LED lights, have a large car, travel overseas often, of course not at the moment, eat organic food, are you a vegetarian, recycle, keep the water running while you brush your teeth, etc. So there are many clues we can ask and talk about. Look at this. What do you see? Well, this is an artist's picture of what the ocean will look like. It's actually a famous painting that's been covered with plastic pieces. Here's a fact. 12 million barrels of oil are used each year in the USA to make plastic bags. 1 billion plastic bags are used around the world each year. 3 billion single-use plastic bags are used in China every day. I'm sorry, 1 trillion plastic bags in the previous example. Worldwide, 2 million plastic bags are used every second. The average time a plastic bag is used is for 12 minutes. The average time it takes to degrade is 1,000 years. So think about those facts. We're going to discuss what things do you think we should do to protect the environment? Let me give you an example that happened today. I'm sure we've all experienced going to a restaurant such as Starbucks. Starbucks tried to use those paper straws instead of plastic straws. The idea was good, but a lot of people complained about the life of the paper straw. It could only stay wet for a very short time. Today, I stopped by a cafe. In that cafe, they weren't using paper straws. They used plant cell plastic. It was a straw made of plant leaves and growing the cells. The plastic would disappear within a few hours or a few days maximum. It felt like a normal straw. It felt plastic, but I knew that it wasn't going to harm the environment. We are going to debate some environmental issues within the chat. Don't feel like you have to support environmental issues if you don't believe in them. For example, if people say plastic bags need to be completely banned, well, we could make a counter argument. You have a point, but it's still costly to produce other carrying cases. Isn't it important to stop pollution? That may be true, but on the other hand, we'd lose a lot of jobs. Okay, there's a lot of different ways that we can debate. Look at the grammar, and we'll try to come up with some interesting ideas to talk about. Here are some ideas that I'm going to ask. Everyone is basically good. Do you believe that? Men should be the leader of the family. Do you believe that? All property should be owned by the state. The state means the government, and people just rent it. Punishment never has any good effect. Meaning, if someone does something wrong, you explain to them, or you try to sympathize, or try other means, not punish. Students should have religious classes in school, maybe studying about Christian or another religion. Violence is necessary sometimes. Sometimes we need guns, bombs, rockets, fighting, etc. All students should be required to speak English. Teachers are always right. I don't think so. Men are smarter than women. Again, don't think so. but we'll see what we say in the chat. Money is more important than love. Okay, these are just several instances, but there's a lot more you guys can come up with. Hopefully this video has been entertaining. We'll see you guys again next week, and we'll talk more about this group chat. Okay, everyone, thanks for coming, and I'll see you in class.